Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show. We have a lot to cover today. We've got a really special guest that you're going to enjoy hearing from right before election time. And we got to make some money first. Let's do the money first, and then we got a bunch of important announcements to make, especially give you an update on one of our local priests that was injured today. So, Solar Stick, they were established in 2006. They're a local portable power company proudly committed to American manufacturing, constant innovation, and creating jobs right here in St. Augustine, Florida. Solar Stick's focus on providing solutions for self-sufficiency helps users all over the world complete missions and save lives. Solar Stick, changing lives, saving lives, and reviving American manufacturing right here in the nation's oldest city.
Absolutely. Abear Kresge and Associates, they are a full-service local CPA firm with a team of skilled professionals dedicated to providing top levels of service in the areas of tax compliance, planning for businesses, individuals, estates, and trusts. They do audits, reviews, and other accounting services. They do business valuations, forensic analysis, and litigation support. You can reach out to Abear Kresge Associates at 904-460-0747 or online at abearkresgecpa.com. The team at South State Bank is a group of bankers you can count on. Their approach to building long-term relationships with their customers is the best in the business. If you're looking for a banking relationship you can depend on, check out South State Bank. They've got 3 locations to serve you in St. Augustine: State Road 312, State Road 16, or the beach. You can also visit them online. Their website is southstatebank.com. They are a member FDIC.
All right, for over 50 years, Epic has been a beacon of hope in our community, providing compassionate care for those touched by substance abuse or mental health disorders. Whether you're a kid, teen, adult, couple, or family, Epic is here to lend a helping hand. With a range of programs tailored to meet diverse needs, Epic also offers accessible solutions for everyone, from their walk-in access center to their mobile response team, from inpatient detoxification to outpatient counseling. Epic provides comprehensive care every step of the way. Their services include psychiatric evaluations, medication management, medication-assisted treatment, care coordination, peer support, suicide prevention training, parenting education, and much, much more. Epic Behavioral, if you need to see them, go see them. They're absolutely wonderful organization, great sponsor of the show. And Epic Kids Day is this Saturday.
This Saturday, Ancient City Kids Day.
Ancient City Kids Day downtown. It's from 11 till 4 p.m.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think I remember
3?
that from yesterday. 11 to 3, maybe 11 to 3. But everything is pretty much free. It's a little bit of money for food, but it's reasonably priced food as opposed to, like if you went to a Jaguars game. So that's
what are you talking about?
All right. Big news happened today. We usually don't have stories like this in St. Augustine. Father Matt Marino, Trinity Episcopal Church, was getting breakfast in an outside cafe and was stabbed by someone he did not know. So Father Matt, the last report we had was in stable condition. Would love for everyone to pray for Father Matt. He's a wonderful person in our community, has done a lot of outreach for various things. And again, someone unknown to him, just unfortunately one of those random rare attacks that you hear about and you hope you're never involved in. And so just prayers for Father Matt's recovery. Paramedics did a phenomenal job from what I hear. And so just very happy that, and he is in Jacksonville. At a hospital there. So no Father Matt, just pray for him and his family right now.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, Levi.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
It's good to see you back.
It's good to see you back.
And are you trolling Knowles fans with North Carolina?
No, I'm actually not. I have a basketball game tonight.
Okay.
So I didn't really have enough. I didn't want to carry all these different pairs of clothes. So
Yes.
I just wore my warm-up cover-up today.
That's okay.
If I would have known we were interviewing someone
That's
as important
right.
as this gentleman, I would have dressed.
I know you young people have a problem with memory issues. I know us older folks can remember everything all the time, but I did tell you we had a political interview.
You did tell me that 2 weeks ago. I needed an update. I blame my calendar for not reminding me.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure, because I know you young people have hearing problems too, and I just want to make sure you're able to hear me. So
Yeah, so my apologies for the wardrobe malfunction.
you're fine. You're absolutely fine. I think our guest has spent more time in a basketball gym than a lot of parents.
Probably.
more than likely. So we have
Indeed.
Clay Murphy with us. Welcome back. You've been
Thank
on
you
the
so
show
much.
before. You're still officially a candidate.
All right, till the 5th.
Till the 5th, but it's a write-in opponent. So if you lose, it will be historic.
It will be
and
historic.
we hope that it is not historic.
We hope that it is not. I'm so blessed. And generally, the write-in candidate in a situation like this will drop out before they print the ballots to save poor Vicky Oates' work. But this time they didn't, so I'm right on the ballot next to Donald Trump, and it's the coolest. It's really cool. So,
Really?
yeah, right next to him. So it's really
so
neat.
Someone's that is. Oh, you're next to him, but not running
On the
against
ballot,
you.
on the
Okay,
ballot, yeah.
I get it now. Okay. Yeah,
So
that would actually be. That
There's
would,
Donald Trump, and then there's me. So it was just pretty cool. So
you gonna frame that?
probably already have. Yeah, no, it's not that big of a deal. It's just interesting how things work out.
Have you voted yet?
Oh yeah, I voted yesterday.
Who did you vote for? If you don't mind me asking. No, I'm just.
No, I don't mind. I voted for me.
Your race. Just
I
in
voted
your
for me.
race.
I should have wrote in Pam Murphy is what I should have done. She's the hero of this story. But,
You trying to get divorced?
No, she.
I don't
trust
think
me.
she wants your job.
She doesn't want anything to do with this, but she was an amazing partner in this the last 2 years, and so kudos to her first and foremost, and it was a God win. That we weren't supposed to win. There was everything was stacked against us. The money, the endorsements, the fake voter guide, the fraudulent voter guide. There were so many things that were against us winning this election that it could only be a God thing. So, yeah, nothing else to explain it or give credit to. So,
well, and I imagine because of the way the system is working and it's a write-in. Have you started having meetings with county staff?
Oh yeah, the staff has been very, very gracious to me. I don't want to assume anything, and I don't want to walk in and put myself in a position where I don't need to be right now. So I've been kind of, laying low and allowing the system to work the way it's supposed to. I don't want to put myself in a position that anybody that didn't win this election would feel uncomfortable in. If the election goes good on Tuesday, we'll be sworn in on the 19th, and we'll get busy the 19th. I'm doing what I can to prepare, but it's not one of those things you can really go and prepare for. You have to take it as it comes. So, we're very excited about getting started, but we're going to be patient and wait till the 19th, and then we'll get busy.
Are you meeting with all the department heads?
I have met with some.
Yep.
Yeah. My goal is, to be honest with you, if elected and when sworn in is, I really want to do a work day in every department in the county. I want to go to each and every county and do a work day and meet and figure out what people do. And, some people said, yeah, you can go in there and tell them how to do their business. And I'm like, no, I am not a micromanager. I believe in hiring the best people you can and entrusting them to do the right job. There's always a system of checks and balances, but for me, you get paid to do a job, and I'm going to trust you to do that job. So for me, it's just going to be educational. I want to meet people. I want to see if I can help in any way, but I'm not a micromanager. I'm not going to go around saying, how come there's 6 guys holding a shovel and 1 guy in the hole? Until you've been there, you don't understand. So I want to be there, and then so I can understand.
Those are federal projects.
Oh, federal.
Those
Yeah.
are federal projects.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those in our county, but
No.
probably the most exciting thing for me. So there's 2 aspects that I've really been looking forward to. Probably the first thing is being associated with the county. We have amazing people in this county. From the top all the way down to the bottom, we have people that care about St. Johns County and really do a good job. And the second thing is, the thing I ran on is answering the phone when someone calls, and they need help. Since even before the election, months before the election, people were calling me and saying, can you help me with this? And can you help me with that? From drainage issues to, they're putting a cell phone tower in my backyard to, even record rates. People are calling me and asking me about everything. And I'm doing what I can. If I can help them, I'm going to help them. If I can, I'm going to refer them to where they can get help. So that was my understanding of the job from the get-go. That was my thoughts of what being a commissioner is answering the phone and being available for people. And, because there's a lot of issues. We have drainage issues. We have, beach erosion. We have, the river down in Summerhaven, the Summerhaven River, it's completely blocked. There's so many ecological issues we have there. drainage in Flagler Estates. You know, we've got to figure out a way to get the Deep Creek flowing again, and figure out whose responsibility it would be, and just get a plan together. You know, we need clean drinking water in West Augustine. We need utilities to that neighborhood that should have been done, 60 years ago. And it's our turn now to step up and get it done. And so there's a lot of projects that are going on, and a lot of them are right there in District 3. So
yeah, there's a lot of people that would not even begin to fathom. I mean, how many septic tanks are in West Augustine, and never ran sewer to West.
Never.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, we've really dropped the ball, and I'm really embarrassed by that. I'm embarrassed by the fact that we have a community that needs clean drinking water in St. Johns County in 2024, and that we're not doing it. So, people are asking me, what's your priorities? Well, the priority is what people told me it is. For 2 years on the election campaign, people have been saying the same thing, traffic, out of control growth. And so my priority is going to be figuring out a way to fund the infrastructure that we need to get done. And I know everybody says that, and I get it. But that's going to be my priority. Whether we can get it done or not on my watch, on my 4 years, I don't know, but that's my number one priority. And my number two priority is getting clean drinking water to West Augustine. We've got to get that done. And I've got some ideas of how we can have a collaboration of people to where everybody wins. And I'm hoping we can get people together that understand the importance of clean drinking water to West Augustine, and how we can do it that will benefit the neighborhood, but then benefit the area and the county too.
So is that, and I don't know because I don't have accounts out in West Augustine. Is that City of St. Augustine, or is that St. Johns County Utilities? Is it a combination of both?
Now the utilities is the city has the contract for that.
Yeah.
So we need to get together with the city and see what we can do. But just like all things that we have here, the problem is going to be money. We've got to figure out a way to fund this. I'm not a politician, so I usually say things I'm not supposed to say. So,
please do.
So
and welcome to the 904 Now. That's the motto. That's the untold motto of this network.
Well, I think I'm sitting in Davy's chair, so I think I can say whatever I want to.
And usually he does.
Yeah. Well, so here's my observation. I've only been hanging out watching the county commission meetings for about 2 years. Every other Tuesday I'm in there, and I don't really say a lot because there's a lot to learn. And one thing I learned in business is, the decisions that the boss has to make, that the dishwashers have to abide by. There's a lot more information that the boss knows than the dishwasher. Dishwasher doesn't understand. Well, why do I have to use that machine this way? But the boss understands that we've already had a lawsuit for that, and so I'm trying to prevent fill in the blank, whatever it is. So I'm trying to talk less and listen more when it comes to the business of the county. But there's a couple of things that have happened recently that have just make you want to scratch your head and go, what? And so I'm a Parks and Rec guy. I think parks are important. They're very, very important. But even though it would be very high on my priority list, 2 years ago, we were in desperate need of $500 million to build roads. So much so that we were going to raise the sales tax to get it. Well, we didn't get the sales tax, but suddenly we have $120 million that we can bond for parks. And although I love parks, now we're $120 million in debt with $30 million in interest over the next 20 years, and we still don't have the roads. So now we have to come up with $700 million to figure out the problem for infrastructure, adding with the parks. And so I know that's simplistic, and I don't want to be naive about it, but it makes someone scratch their head and go, what are they thinking? And it's probably going to work out all right. I mean, the world's going to keep turning. We won't die over the fact that we're getting in debt over parks, and we'll figure out a way to get it done. I know that they're using the future growth impact fees, which is another thing that makes you scratch your head and go, so we have to continue to grow. to support the debt.
To support the debt, but you don't want more growth.
But you don't want more growth
yeah.
because we don't have the infrastructure for it. So it's one of those things that I'm going, and I do not want to be that guy who comes in and criticizes past commissions because they do the best they can with what they have. Yep. But it's putting the next commission in an interesting spot to where, with the the tax dollars that we have out there, the school board has, and I don't want to say anything about the school board other than the fact that there are 2 tax referendums on the ballot, and those dollars that they're trying to get are dollars that we need too. I mean, we need those kind of dollars, and so here we are trying to hold the line on taxes and keeping our taxes low, and talking about doing a rollback and the challenges of rolling back the millage rate so that we can reduce people, or at least not raise people's taxes. See, that's the shell game that they use, is if we keep the millage rate the same, if we roll it back a little bit, then your taxes stay the same. You're not really cutting anything.
Yeah.
I've already had conversations with several different groups. Well, if you roll it back, then we're not going to have our funding. And I'm like, no, there's still plenty of money there. We're still growing at a rate of over $200 million a year in ad valorem tax increases. And so the fact that we won't grow by $250 million, we only grow by $225 million is very telling.
Well, and I've always been a small government guy.
Yeah.
And for me, the argument's always been, well, how do you stop the growth of government? Well, the only way you stop the growth of government is you stop feeding it.
You have to stop feeding the blob.
And are there great projects out there? Yes. Are there things that we need to do? Yes. But as a business owner, if you had asked me in 2007, when times were rolling and rocking and everybody was doing good, was I running an efficient business? I would have told you we are the most efficient business. I can guarantee you that. In 2009, after 2 years of going through the downturn, I could have told you all the stupid mistakes I made in 2005, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
Because I was forced to.
Yeah.
Right. I was forced to look at it and
survive.
say, okay, how do I make this work and how do I get this done? Yeah. And that's always kind of been the thing with government, especially when you have, this automatic increase in the valuation of properties, because we live in an area where growth has been big. And so you're automatically getting a 3 to 5%. And if you told me I was getting that as a business owner, I'd be like, okay, I can manage that. I know what I need to do. Tell me I didn't have that, I'd have to tighten my belt a little bit and figure out what's important and what's not important. So, I'm not in these departments. I think some of the departments are run really well. I agree. This is not a blanket statement about departments. But I think in almost every organization you can find some fat.
Yeah. And
you could figure out, okay, we can run more efficiently.
Especially since we've had so many years of prosperity. Government, I referenced that old movie, The Blob, where it rolled through town and everything that it came across, it absorbed, and it got bigger as it absorbs things. Mm-hmm. And that's been our county. Well, on a micro level. On the macro level, you look at the federal government and how they're, we're literally driving the bus into financial ruin, and nobody seems, people are worried about whether or not you have leg room on the buses or going off the cliff. It's just
no. They're worried about who's sitting where on the bus.
Yeah. Where you? Yeah. Good.
Who's got the front seat? Who's got the middle seat? Yeah, and it's all going off the cliff.
We're all going off the cliff. It's like worrying about what's for supper on the dining car as the train goes off the tracks.
What was the old saying? Rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Yes,
that's all that is. I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing. Yeah,
we're still going down, and yet people are looking. And look, it's a mindset. It's a mindset that we have, like the government will take care of what, or the government will pay for this, or the government will do that. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is we got a lot of hard working taxpayers in this county that don't want to pay for things that we don't need. Mm-hmm. They'd rather that money be in their pockets. And the challenge with the school board, and here again, I'm probably not going to be, I probably shouldn't say this before election day, but people ask me all the time, what do you do on the sales tax issues? And I'll tell you what I think personally, because I'm not a politician and I'm not smart enough to shut up. Mm-hmm. personally, the half-cent sales tax that they want to continue for another 10 years doesn't bother me because we've had it for 10 years and we've kind of adjusted to it.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge I have is adding another mill to the to our tax base for property owners.
Yeah.
Property owners are now, and there are a lot of people in St. Johns County, they don't have kids in school anymore, and yet they're going to foot the burden for, and people have to understand that they don't reduce the amount of money that the school board gets if they vote against this.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to reduce it. They're not going to get a reduction.
No, it's
They're
just where
just-
they get the money from.
It's just where the money's coming from and how much more they want. And for me, it's like they need to trim the fat first before they come trying to get a tax increase.
Well, and I recognize St. Johns County is high growth. The growth is in areas where there's not schools. And if you look at when my wife came, we got married, we moved back to town, and she was interviewing for an elementary school. I think there were 6 or 7 elementary schools in the entire county. I think there's probably more than that in the northern part of the county right now.
Just in the northern part.
Northwest, not even counting Ponte Vedra, right?
I think they have either 5 or 8 under construction right now.
Yeah. So I mean,
K through 8.
the growth has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they got to pay for that some way, right? I see that. And
Which goes back to point 1.
yeah. How do you stop the growth?
How do you control the growth? So, and here's my layman's take. I'm just a old retired trooper. What do I know about any of this? But if you look at it, I'm not an anti-development guy. I think we need smart development. I think we need good developers that come in and really have a heart for St. Johns County. I mean, building houses is how people make money. I get that. So, but I'm not an anti-developer. I think we need good development. But developers don't make money off of building roads and schools. They make money off of building houses or projects or whatever it is. It's the county's responsibility to make sure that the roads are done first. And we have been very deficient. And it has put us in a situation where not only are the roads overcrowded, now the schools are overcrowded. Every issue we have the issue that we have now can be attributed to the fact that we have grown a lot faster than our infrastructure has allowed us to do it.
Well, I used to think the traffic was bad in downtown St. Augustine, and I'm not saying it's not. Nights of Lights is right around the corner.
But I love Nights of Lights.
I love getting around Nights of Lights.
Yes, but I love the people that it brings because tourism's important.
Town. No, but if you drive through the northern part of the county, it's shocking what the traffic looks like now to what it looked like 20 or 30 years ago.
That's crazy. It's crazy. As a young trooper here in 1991, you could run 210 from the interstate at the truck stop all the way to Ponte Vedra and never pass a car after 9 o'clock at night. Dude, just can't do that anymore.
I remember leaving town in the mid 80s. I would do deliveries and pickups for my dad and granddad out of Jacksonville. And when you left the airport, maybe 2 cars would pass you on the way to Jacksonville and maybe 2 cars would pass you back. When you go there now or back, you're stuck in a lane almost the entire way. It is for me to remember, gosh, this used to be a drive. You'd put the radio on and you just kind of cruise. You had both lanes if you wanted to. You didn't have to worry about anybody.
Yeah. Getting somewhere was what was it, Howard Johnson's that went out of business because there wasn't any traffic on US 1?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got an issue. There are options out there to fix this issue. There are ways that we can get funds. For me, let me just throw this out. Why we're not going after federal dollars for evacuation route, hurricane evacuation route dollars. I mean, we ended up doing that with 207 20 years ago, and whichever hurricane it was came through, and there was an evacuation order for everybody west. A matter of fact, I evacuated. Well, I had to stay in direct traffic in the middle of 206 and 207 through a hurricane, but my wife and my babies loaded up and went to Tallahassee.
Yeah, Floyd was in 99. That was 25.
That's Floyd. And so, my youngest son was a baby in a car seat, and then Connor was about 3 and Alicia was about 17 or 18. And my wife took 8 hours to go from Oak Brook to the Shands Bridge. And because there was no evacuation route. So there was a huge push, a great outcry. 207 gets 4-laned. We should have done 16 and 210 25 years ago when we had the opportunity, but we didn't because people said, if you build it, the growth will come. So here we are 25 years later. We didn't build it, and the growth came anyway.
Yes.
So all we did was delay the growth.
All we did was push it back a little bit, but we still have the issue, but we don't have the road. So
right. You delayed the growth, and now you're going to pay 10 times what the road
10
was
times.
back then.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And now it's on, the next generation to fix it.
It's the difference between being proactive and reactive.
Yes. One of our longtime listeners says, thank goodness you did not start with, I came from a middle-class family. and I want Barbara Jean to know all of us were born much poorer than that. All of us. Middle class was something we attained to get to. So
we got to go. See, my daddy worked for J.C. Penney's, and my mama stayed home and raised kids. We had nothing when I was little, but my daddy really worked hard, and so we were, he was able to put all of us through college. And even though I wasn't smart enough to finish when I was living at home on mom and daddy's dime, we all got an opportunity to do that because of the work ethic of my parents.
Yeah.
So I guess whatever the line is from that movie that I won't say on the air, from Steve Martin.
Yes.
The
jerk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were just regular kids, very blessed to have a mom and dad that were married for 51 years. I've been married for 31 years now, Pam. Sorry, Palaca, but I had to move to St. Augustine to find a wife. 31 years we've been married, over 31 years, so really blessed.
I have so many jokes there, but I'm going to let them all go.
Don't you dare let them go. Let's go.
No, you can't say that one.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of how I am right now. I'm like, I can't say that. I can't say that.
Yes, I did.
I can't say that.
You got questions?
No, I'm just listening right now. I'm taking it all in.
It's your first political interview.
I know, but
one of the nicest guys we could bring in here.
Really, he is really nice. But I was very intrigued because I honestly don't have any knowledge on the inner workings of our county. Like I have the same problems everyone else has.
Don't worry, I don't either.
I have the same problems everyone else has with the traffic. I didn't know about the West Augustine thing with the water. That's actually incredible to me that they don't even have clean drinking water. And I was just intrigued by you. You were doing a great job.
Yeah.
I was waiting to jump in with something, but
and if you do, hit me, Amanda. Questions from the smartest one in the room.
Never say that. Whenever you say that, I say the dumbest things on air.
I can't wait for this.
So my first home, my husband and I bought when we first got married. It was in West Augustine, and it was in one of the newer neighborhoods. And so I lived in that area for 13 years. Like I said, it was newer construction, and one of the things that I wanted to make sure when we were buying was that it didn't have a septic tank. So it was one of the few neighborhoods that we were on city water at that point.
Yeah.
And so I've seen, firsthand how driving past my neighbors, right? Like they went through it, and it's wild that area of St. Augustine has such a different standard compared to the other.
I think the time to end that is now. Now, I'm not saying that nothing's been done. The city of St. Augustine is working on a program now. They're going street by street, but we really need to kick this up. We really need to go in, and we need to, I was talking to some people from over there, Greg White, what a lovely man, and Dewala Willis and that whole crew over there, the wonderful people, the Pinckneys. They're keeping their neighborhood together with duct tape and prayer, and it's time for, and they're paying more than their fair share over there, and it's time for us to put a coalition together, figure out what they need, and let's get it done, because that could be the catalyst for a whole economic revival for King Street. I'd love to see, I joked about this, I'd love to see yuppies riding their e-bikes up and down King Street going downtown, from the Black History Museum just outside of Holmes Boulevard downtown to St. Augustine on their e-bikes. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Yuppies are such a nightmare for me.
I know.
I got to call my therapist as soon as it shows up.
I know. But it's like they have a vision for their neighborhood, and it's a good one, and they're good people, and we need to get busy doing what we can. You know, my wife grew up on Holmes Boulevard, so right in that neighborhood, right in the West Augustine neighborhood, and it. I'm not going to say it's criminal. I'm just going to say that it breaks my heart that we haven't done something to now, and now it's time to get busy. So we got a lot of work to do.
And I think one of the current commissioners, Sarah Arnold, I've heard nothing but glowing things out of Greg White and
she went to
West
work.
Augustine community, because she has rolled up her sleeves and done good work.
Well, you know, that's the thing. People, you know, we were put into two different groups during this election.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was them and then the grassroots. But one of the things that I came to realize is that things are never what someone else wants you to believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah, everywhere I go, people say the same thing about Sarah Arnold, is that she went to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very, very, I'm so excited to be a part of this board coming forward. I think we're going to put our differences aside and we're going to get something done for our county. And I'm really, really excited about it.
Well, I hope so. I mean, you brought up probably one of the most interesting topics, and you and I talked a little bit about it in the pre-show, but you have two established longer time board members. You have two newer board members. You're kind of that middle vote. And as Troy Blevins is fond of saying, in government, especially in county government, you have to learn how to count to three. And if you couldn't get three commissioners, you couldn't get anything done.
All right.
And so you begin all of a sudden as a very powerful swing vote in your first year on the county commission. I can't remember a time, and I've followed politics very closely in St. Augustine, St. Johns County since I was a kid, when I was younger than Levi. But I don't ever remember somebody coming in and having that much kind of sway over where the board might go, just because of the way it's currently set up. But I love your comment about we got to put some things aside and do what.
We do. This is way too important. You know, for me, it's not about my legacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the generation's legacy. We need to leave this place better than we found it, and we haven't done a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Christian Whitehurst one day, and I think he ended up being the swing vote his first 2 years. Mm-hmm. So he kind of had some experience on where I'm going. But for me, look, it's all about the people of St. Augustine. What we've got to put our differences aside and do what's best for the county. And it hasn't always been the case, but I think we got a really good group of people. I've spoken with every one of them for one reason or another since the election, and
because you're allowed to speak to them now.
Yeah,
I mean, this is like a freeway of I can get all kinds of information and everything. The minute you're elected, no more. No
About 8:30 on Tuesday night is when it's the bars come down.
Yeah.
On freedom. So I want to thank the write-in for not dropping out. It gives me the opportunity to really have open and candid conversations, and I've been really, really blessed. I've talked to Krista and to Ann. I've talked to. I had lunch with Roy. What a gentleman Roy is. I don't know if I ever thanked him enough for his stewardship of the district after Paul passed away, and I really appreciate that. But I've talked to Christian and to Sarah, and they all have a heart for St. Johns County, and I'm convinced that this commission going in over the next 2 years will do really good things for the county.
So walk me through, just because I'm ignorant to how this all works. So let's say
I'll do my best.
Let's say something comes across the commission's board or the commission's plate or whatever, and it's like, hey, traffic's an issue. We need to fix the traffic. How do we get that done? Is it like a board of commissioners that votes on it? Is that how it is?
Yeah.
And then,
well, so the responsibility of the county commissioners are really kind of threefold, to be honest with you. So, now there are some other things. If you look at the agendas that we go by, you realize that there are zoning issues, there are comprehensive land plan issues, but the majority of the responsibility is to hire and fire the county attorney.
Uh-huh.
And I don't mean hire and fire. We're responsible for the employment of the county attorney and for the county administrator and the budget.
Okay.
And so those three things are really what the county commissioner is supposed to focus on. That's the three legs of our stool, if you will.
Okay. So you're looking at the budget, right?
Right.
And, and you're looking at the budget and you go, I mean, we know we need better better traffic situation here in town. We know we need the water situation solved in West Augustine, and we just don't see how we can fund it, right?
Yeah.
Where do you then look for funding? What are some alternative ideas? How do we do this?
Well, I can tell you that in a year from now, I'm going to know I'm going to be able to answer that question a whole lot better.
Right.
But some of the thoughts that I've had already is that we need to look for grants. We actually have a grant writer and a department in the county that looks for funds for specific items. The challenge with that is that they are for specific items.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if we have a project over here that we get a grant for $5 million and it only costs $3 million, we can't roll that extra money into something else. So it's very specific about where the money goes. But for us, it's about priorities. Or for me, we've only got so much money.
Right.
And we get our priority list and we start at the top. This is our top priority, and this is what we need to do first. And everything else will have to wait. If people come up to us, if the citizens, that's another thing is what are the citizens clamoring for? What are they getting the pitchforks and the torches out over? And it's about traffic. Everybody that I talk to says traffic and growth is out of control. What are you going to do? And so we've got to sit down and devise a plan to pull the reins in a little bit until we can catch up with infrastructure. We have to catch up. I keep saying that because we do need houses. Here's the balance that we find the precarious place we're teetering on is supply and demand. We don't have enough houses for people who want to live here.
Mm-hmm.
So it drives up the price of the houses that is available.
Mm-hmm.
And so then people can't afford to live here. So then they leave and they go somewhere else. There's a balance that we need to find, and we haven't done a good job of balancing out. And just to change the subject, I don't think we've had a good negotiator for the county. I think most people come in with their ideas and their plans to build this and to build that, and the county goes, "Oh, okay, sounds good to me." Instead of going, "Wait a minute, that don't sound good. Let's add this, let's cut this, let's do this." We need somebody negotiating for the county, because developers, they're not going to negotiate against themselves. They're going to start where they want and go up from there. So we need to have somebody.
So I grew up on St. Augustine Beach, right? And in my lifetime, we've done the beach replenishment, or whatever you want to call it, where they dredge it all out, put the sand back out, pass the pier. I've done that 3 times in my lifetime, and I'm 34. Are we ever just going to build a seawall and realize that Mother Nature doesn't want that beach there? Or are we just going to keep pouring money into...
Can I answer as another constituent, as a surfer?
Go.
We love the beaches, so we want the beaches to continue. See, and this is where you get into that problem politically of someone else that doesn't live on the beach says, "Hey, we don't need that money." But if you lived on the beach, you have property on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
that renourishment is a big thing. And then going back historically, St. Augustine beaches was much wider in the 1940s and 50s. The Army Corps of Engineers came in and moved.
We're from the government, and we're here to help.
Inlet.
Yeah.
And so once the inlet was moved, we got less sand coming naturally down from north to south.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you had beach erosion like we'd never had before in St. Augustine Beach. So that's part of the reason the feds are still there doing it. When it ends or how it ends, I don't know. I will tell you this much: these last 2 storms, Helene and Milton, have knocked the heck out of the current beach renourishment.
Well, the people down in Summerhaven are dealing with the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know, for recorded history, Summerhaven River was a vibrant and viable part of the ecosystem down there, and it played a very valuable role in reducing erosion as the water comes out of the inlet. But not only that, but it flushes Pelletier Creek and all those tributaries off of Pelletier Creek. That's where all these fish, they spawn there. I mean, that's where a lot of the fishing that we come from and all of this wildlife, the birds, lived off of that. When the Corps of Engineers came in and decided to move the intercoastal off the river and put it 100 yards back, everything changed. But it was still a viable river until about the 80s, till about 89, when whichever hurricane came, and then they started the process of having to clean it back out. So the question is, what do we want to do? Do we want a teeming ecosystem, vibrant, that we can enjoy as kayakers or windsurfers or boaters? with incredible fish and this, or do we just want to say the heck with it and let it go? And so we're kind of, at this point to where, which way do we go? And I say let's fix it. I say let's fix the river.
There was a hurricane that came through, and I can't remember which one, but it breached.
Yep.
It breached the beach, and when it breached the beach, the county wanted to fix it. The state said no. And that started this whole cascading.
And that's another
effect.
challenge, is the different departments and who's responsible and what permitting you have to go through. It's a nightmare. These residents down there on both sides of A1A, the ones in Summer Haven and then the ones down by Marineland who have homes in the ocean. They don't have access to their own homes, and it's a delicate situation.
Were you ever a deputy and had to do a call on Summer Haven?
No, but I backed up a couple of deputies when I was a trooper down there. Yes.
So I just remember the days we had a client that needed some work done. So you had to drive to the south end of that Summer Haven spit of land and then drive north.
On old A1A.
Well, it was old A1A until it got in the dunes. And then you were literally, the road was underneath houses. I was driving the dump truck one day, and that's what I remember, because I'm looking at the pilings are 12 feet wide. And I think the mirrors on the dump truck were like 11.6.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was really interesting trying to
So
get
you had
that.
to drive underneath the homes.
You had to drive underneath people's houses to get to the job site, and then you had to drive back through all of that again. It was a crazy thing.
And those are people's property. I mean,
Yes.
they actually paid for them. So there's a big challenge right now is making sure that we have, if you go down the river, or if you go down A1A, just south of Summer House, whatever that is, you can actually see the ocean. And years ago, you couldn't see it. The berms were 16 feet, were 16 feet high. You couldn't see the ocean. Now you can see the ocean. I mean, there's houses in there, and some people say, I don't have a lot of empathy for people who have a house there. I mean, they should have known or whatever. But the fact of the matter is we have an obligation to be able to provide services, even if it's just getting to someone in the need of an ambulance. We have to be able to figure out a way to do this, and I think we're smart enough to figure it out.
Yeah. No. Next question, sir.
I'm good right now.
You're good right now. Okay. All right. I didn't mean to.
Have I talked you out? And see, I'm
you haven't talked
I'm
me
not
out
even
at
a
all.
politician yet, and I can already out talk you.
So I do have a shameless plug for the building department. And
I'm big fans of the building
I'm
department.
going to tell you, Howard White, all of his staff are amazing. Yes, I have worked with them in that department more than any other department because I'm a builder. But it is one of the best run building departments in North Florida.
I agree.
We work in all of those different municipalities. And one of the things that a lot of our listeners probably don't know is that the building department is different from all the other departments except for utilities, in that it finances itself.
Yeah, funds itself.
It funds itself. So the
Tax
the
collector.
fees, the fees from building permits pay for the building department.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to have a very good building department. I've been to towns where they do not have good building departments. I've been to towns in communities where they're not well organized, and our current building department is great. You say, well, that just helps developers. No, it doesn't, because if you need a pool permit and you need a roofing permit and you need everything that you need that's permittable through there, you want a department that's efficient, doesn't take a lot of time, and there isn't a lot of red tape, and that is the definition of our building department.
I concur 100%. I've had to go into permitting several times with Sonny's. I had to do it once when we did the remodel at 16. I had to do it when we changed our alcohol license. I had to go before the PZA and get permitting, and then with the US1 store that we unfortunately didn't get to do the permitting for that, went through the building, and it was easier than I was shocked at how easy it was. And maybe easy is not a good word. Efficient. It was very, very efficient. I think, and maybe I shouldn't say this. Dadgummit. I can tell you that I had a bigger challenge with the fire department than I did with the building department. The fire department is very, very, and I don't want to say picky because they have a tough job to do, but they were very, very engaged.
How many years ago was this?
They were just about 2. They were very engaged in what was going on with my permit.
Yeah.
Is that a nice way to say
Now,
it?
fire department review is
Yeah.
the tougher review
Yeah.
that we have right now, especially on a commercial side. So there's you made a comment earlier.
I really appreciate that after the fact. Going through it was kind of tough, but after the fact, I'm like, okay, I can understand where that would be.
And I will say that years ago, I was part of a group that went to the fire department and said, hey, you're taking too long. This was during the downturn before things really picked back up again, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? And went to them and said, if you don't fix the system now, because it's taken so long to get through, that when you really get a lot of work, you're not going to know what to do with it.
It's going to be bad.
And you're going to struggle to meet your self-imposed deadlines. And they've done a really good job, Rob Dowling, the rest of the staff over there. And I think it's kind of a process that you go through with different departments from time to time. But I will say this, the fire department's much more user-friendly now than it was probably 10 years ago.
Well, I'm a big fan. That's where I got my started in public services in the fire department. And so I'm a big fan of what they do. I think we have a great department, great people.
Mm-hmm.
Chief, Sean, they're doing, it's kind of like the sheriff's department,
Yes.
I'm a citizen. I've been retired from the patrol about 16 years. I'm a citizen. And when I needed the sheriff's department, they showed up and they helped me. I'll just give you maybe two quick examples of that. We got robbed at Sonny's. We didn't get robbed. That's not so. We were burglarized.
Mm-hmm.
Someone broke into the system, cut all my camera wires, did damage, and the detective division went to work and found the suspect. He got away clean, didn't leave any evidence at the scene, and they somehow figured out a way through a contact card. One of the canine guys sees this guy at the next exit up a month later and does a contact card. And through that contact card, the detectives were able to go in and get a warrant for his location and put him in my store at the time of the crime. Somehow. I still don't know how to do it. I got a phone call 2 months later. It says, I think we found the guy.
Yeah.
And then I got a call 2 weeks later, say, all right, we've put a warrant out for this guy who broke into your Sonny's.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, out of nothing, they made it happen. So I'm a big fan of our services here.
I think I know how they did it, but I'm not saying it on the air.
Yeah. I think I do too,
I got that figured out, but I'm not going to say it on the air just because I respect the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
If I ever get burglarized, as you said, I want the crime solved.
I want it solved.
Yes.
And whether we ever get anything back from them or not, I appreciate the fact that these guys are doing the job.
Yeah.
There was I'll tell you one. I know we're getting close on time, but I'll tell you a real quick story. My wife and I were at Treaty Park a couple weeks ago, and this car comes in driving a little crazy, right? So I'm going to skip over some of it for time. Let's just say that the car had been stolen from the beach. Guy left their backpack sitting out on the beach, and guy went by and got his car keys and went in the parking lot and found his car and drove off with his car. They go to Treaty Park. Well, they were driving a little reckless, and my wife was like, not on my watch. These are my babies out here.
Yeah.
So there was a conversation had between me and my wife and these kids, not knowing that they had just stole this car.
Yeah.
And so, 10 minutes later, the sheriff's department shows up. I mean, 4 or 5 cars come in like SWAT, and Pammy sees them pulling in there. So she, out of curiosity, because Pam's such a curious person, she goes over there, and they're surrounded this car that we just had a thing with, and the kid had left his cell phone in the car. So they tracked it to Treaty Park, and she goes, oh, we just had a few words with these guys.
Yeah.
Well, can you describe them? She goes, yeah. So she takes them on a journey around Treaty Park until she finds them, and she goes, there they are right there. There was a lot more to this story, but just say that my wife is not only an incredible campaigner and wonderful wife and mother and grandmother, but she's also a crime solver.
And
She solves crimes.
And you have some other really important family news that happened for you.
Oh yeah. Congratulations to Connor and Stacy. Stacy gave birth to identical twin girls today about 1:00 this afternoon. Melody and Melania, and they are beautiful little girls, and they're in the NICU for a little while because they're a little early, but great girls, healthy babies. And I'm telling you, that's the one thing that'll make me cry. These babies it's amazing. It's amazing. Twin girl granddaughters, and I'm over the moon. We're so excited about that. So thanks for bringing that up.
You won't see those kids for about a year and a half.
No,
really.
Not
the kids. I mean, your kids.
My kids.
Yeah, you won't see because they will be so busy with the grandkids.
Yeah.
Twins were, yeah. We had some really good friends, cousin and her husband, and they had twin boys right before Reese was born. And we literally we haven't seen them in a year and a half. We're getting ready to celebrate a 2-year-old birthday. And they finally we came up for air.
And
after 2 years.
And they come out of hiding. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're
it's a lot of work.
But we're really excited that we have a great, support system in this town. We've got several generations on both sides of the family. Stacy's family, Steve and Stephanie are wonderful, and they've got a big support group over there. And these are the first grandkids for their side, and this is 5 and 6 for Pammy and I. So we're old hats at this, but we're really excited about having the girls.
So you're pulling them aside. If you want to spoil them, this is how you do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you really want to spoil.
Well, I've had boys.
This is how it's done.
We've all had boys, Brock, Bryson, Bentley, and Maverick, and so we've all had boys, and now we've got girls.
Oh.
I'm already ruined.
I bet Pam is
over the moon.
Yes.
Just over the moon. So.
All right. So a couple of quick updates. Again, prayers for Father Matt.
Yep.
Unfortunate accident happened to him today. Attack that happened to him, and so just prayers for him. Update on sample ballots. If you got them, send us a note. I got mine. I don't think anybody else here has gotten theirs yet.
Nope.
And I didn't get mine because of preferential treatment. Somehow the post office just found me. Not sure that's going to happen much more in my life, but they did find me on this. And right now, the number is 47,909 people that have voted in St. Johns County, either through mail-in ballots or early voting. 20.83%. So Amanda, essentially, we're 1/4 of where you want to be. You want to be at 85%, right?
Minimum
80.
Yeah.
We were 84% during the 2020.
So we were 84% during 2020 presidential election. So
I think that would be wonderful. I think that is wonderful. I've been to a couple of the polling precincts so far, and they're really packed.
Yeah.
People are voting, and I'm so excited. Regardless of who you vote for, Trump. Regardless of who you vote for, it's very, very important to get out and vote. So.
Yeah, I got an update from a friend of mine that lives in the swing state of North Carolina, and there's lines wrapping around the buildings for early voting in North Carolina in her area.
That's fantastic.
So it's wild.
Well, I thought that's kind of. You don't know where North Carolina is going to go. It was a very close state 4 years ago.
It was.
With the hurricanes, you have a lot of rural areas that were disproportionately damaged in the mountains. And my own personal take is that those resilient people are going to find a way to vote.
They're going to find a way to vote.
Especially if they're unhappy with a response from the government, they're going to go find a way to vote. If they're happy with it, they're going to go find a way to vote.
Yeah.
Where I see more of an interesting kind of loss is how fast does Asheville get back on its feet, right? So Asheville was hit pretty hard. Yeah. My time being in Asheville, it's more liberal than the surrounding area.
It's a beautiful city.
Most cities are that way. I mean, St. Augustine is, if you want to find where most Democrats are in St. Johns County, they're probably in the St. Augustine area. And that's just the way it is. So I'll be curious to see what happens there too. I think in the end, it's probably a zero net effect because if you're motivated to vote, you're going to find a way to vote.
Yeah.
So I just don't see that changing much, but, so it's go vote. You got plenty of time to vote. It was interesting looking at the 2020 results. Day of voting was the least of the votes in 2020. Mail-in voting and early voting trumped both of those.
Mail-in voting and early voting was more than 50% of the vote in the primary in August. So we knew we knew who was winning and losing after about 8 minutes.
Well, that was we do that the evening show on election nights, and more. There's only one race that I've seen in the last 5 or 6 cycles where somebody has overcome the early voting, mail-in voting lead that an opponent had, and that was in a school board race. Collins, she got endorsed by Ron DeSantis literally the week of early voting. Didn't have as much of an early voting impact, but election day was over the top, and it was huge. And it was just
see, I'm a traditional kind of guy, man. I'm going to be there on the day, voting on election day. That's just how
good for you.
I've always been. That's how my family's always been.
You're going to roll in on your horse and cart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, I'm not Amish, but
yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
No,
I want my sticker and everything, you know. Wear
Well,
it to the
it's
gym.
a sticker if you vote early. I did see someone at a restaurant the other day for lunch, and she had the I voted sticker, and I just wanted to go up and tell her, hey, thanks for voting. Didn't really care how she voted, just thanks for voting. There's a lot of people that get apathetic about it, and I think it's just such an important part of the way our republic is designed. Is you have the right to vote, you should go vote. And so I just didn't get a chance. I had to leave the restaurant early, but I was really excited to go. Yeah,
that's really lost in my generation too. Yeah. So
it is. There's a lot of people who are very apathetic to voting. They don't think it makes any difference, and it could never be farther from the truth. It really does make a difference.
I think I've missed one special election in my entire time of voting.
Yeah, I don't think I've missed anything that I was able to vote in. It's that important. I've got a story for that too.
Go ahead.
So I made a phone call years ago to my representative, my local rep. His name was, you might know him, the insurance guy.
The insurance.
Brain's gone.
Bailey? No.
It was Pammy would be kicking me under the table right now that I forgot. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, I called him on the phone, and I called the office, and I said, I'm Clay Murphy. I live in St. Augustine. I just need a few minutes of the representative's time whenever he gets a chance. I left a message. 10 minutes later, the phone rings, and it's him. It's he was on the floor, and he takes a break and calls me back 10 minutes later, and it wasn't until
Travis Cummings.
No, it was Doug Wiles.
Doug Wiles.
That
was a long time ago.
Yeah. It was. I think he's the only Democrat I've ever voted for. Please don't say that on the air, okay? But anyway,
I voted for him.
Yeah, great.
I took grief for writing him a check, but if you grew up in St. Augustine, Doug was
his mom and dad came to Sonny's all the time, and they were wonderful people.
Family.
And I absolutely loved him. But he called me back in 10. I didn't know him. He called me back in 10 minutes and said, "Hey, I'm on a break. I took a break from the floor to call me back." And I didn't learn until later it was because I was a super voter.
Yes.
Because I voted every time. And think about the results in the primary that just happened in August. 25% of the people, of the registered voters voted. That means your vote counts for 4.
Yeah.
And people don't look at it that way. It's important that we go out and we vote, because each one of my votes counted for 4. So you think about my family and the 15, 16 people in my family, and now you're looking at over 100 votes just from one family, cumulative,
Well, you mentioned Paul Waldron's race. Yeah. I think 7 votes, 12 votes, right? 7 votes. And there are a lot of families in St. Augustine could add up their family members that voted for Paul because he was the local guy.
Yeah.
And any one of those families could say, I put Paul over the top.
I did.
Yeah.
I told him that on a regular basis. Paul and I were in business together. He was my landlord.
Yes.
Great guy, great family. Him and Stephanie, just
wonderful people.
Really miss him. He we would have conversations over at the store, and he was so full of common sense, man. He was just you would look at him and so underestimate him, but when he opened his mouth, you realize this is a smart guy right here.
He cared for the county. He cared for the city. He had a lot of the history. He knew that history.
Yep.
He respected that history, and made some really good decisions as a commissioner. Yeah,
really proud of him.
Yes.
And I hope one day, my prayer is that one day someone says that I was a Paul Waldron commissioner. That would be my goal.
Yeah.
So
that would be a great legacy.
Yeah, That would be a great legacy.
Well,
So
good luck in 2 weeks on Tuesday.
thank you.
And I hope you don't make history.
Me too.
I hope you do not. And please come back and see us. And if you have stuff that's coming up that's important you want to talk about, I know I speak for Pete and the morning show and Davey in the afternoon. Love having elected officials come and tell us what's going on. So,
Good. Love to. If I can just go hang out with Davey, that's the cool
I can
thing.
arrange that.
Yeah.
That would be cool because he's a rock star. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Tuesday, you can come in here any Tuesday. And
Pete,
he's here.
Troy, not so much, but Davey, he's the man.
Oh, and by the way, we do have to get up our caption that picture for the day. You don't have it?
I took it. It's saved. We can do 2
so
tomorrow.
Tomorrow we'll do 2 caption that pictures because the morning show continues to leave us screenshots of somebody who
I
looks
can post it on a
vaguely
separate
like
post.
Van Strange, but isn't. So,
Yeah.
yes.
If you want, I can post it as a separate post.
No.
And
We'll
give people time to caption
We'll
it.
get it tomorrow. We'll get it. As
All
long
right.
as they keep leaving it for us, we're going to keep using it.
Okay.
It's free content. We love
It
it.
is.
I love it.
All right, Clay, thank you very much for coming
Thank
back.
you, Mike.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Levi,
Thank you,
Amanda,
Levi.
we'll see
Amanda.
you guys tomorrow.
Yep.
Awesome.
Bye.